Hey, good morning, 819S. And today it is May 29th, Thursday, May 29th, 2025. Today, weather forecast is 20 degrees outside. It will definitely start raining around 8, 9 o'clock tonight. So I have my rain gear inside my bike underneath the seat. And yeah, I'm ready to go to work. So I'm on Jerry, I'm on my tact. And right now it's a nice day, but I think the ride home tonight is going to be pretty miserable. And there's not too much you can do about it. Weather is weather. Just be prepared. So like I said, I've got my rain suit, which means rain pants and a rain jacket. I've got gloves in there too. Um, it's typically enough. I keep a pair of goggles on the back of my helmet. I used to wear the goggles always when I ride, but these days, I don't know, because I wear glasses, I have to take my glasses off. It's a little just an extra step in getting my helmet ready. Take my glasses off, put my helmet on, put the glasses on, put the goggles on. I used to stretch the goggles up over the chin bar while I was taking my glasses off and putting them on, but that stretches this out more than I think it's stretching it out right now. So I've had a bunch of pairs of goggles. The elastic bands just wore out from overstretching them and then letting them go back on my face, overstretching them and putting them back on my face. So yeah, nowadays I just keep them back here, and then if there's a particular problem that I'm trying to avoid, for example rain or insects or something like that, I can flip them around to the front of my face pretty easily. Yeah, it's just the way I like to do it. Today, the main topic I'd like to talk about is speaking Japanese when you come to Japan. Um, the main idea is basically, do you need to be able to speak Japanese if you want to ride motorcycles in Japan? And the answer is pretty complicated. I think the simplest answer is, of course, no, you don't. You can use Google Translate and DeepL. You can use ChatGPT. You can use Google Lens to look at something and read the kanji characters that you can't really understand usually. So it's pretty easy to be able to communicate. Um, you can use the Google Translate or Apple Translate app and have a conversation back and forth. It's a little more slow, it's a little more tedious, but it's certainly possible. Um, but if you want to do deeper research and you want to understand things correctly, the longer answer is yes. Um, I think the ability to speak Japanese means that you can communicate with the mechanic, you can communicate with the garage. Um, Hopefully it never happens, but yeah, you can communicate more easily with the police if that situation arises. I've seen a bunch of YouTubers come to Japan these days just to ride motorcycles, and I haven't watched all the videos, obviously, but from the few videos I did watch, some people had a little bit of Japanese ability, and they were able to talk to local people, and they were able to get some good information, good advice, get maps, get directions, stuff like that. And then other people really have to struggle with translation apps and things like that. So, if you're coming to Japan, I think learning a little bit is definitely good. The other funny thing about language in general is you don't need to learn the whole language in order to be able to communicate. If you learn the things that are necessary for motorcycling, like filling up a gas tank, um, Montan is the word that I use the most often. If I go to a full service shop, Montan just means full tank. So that's a word that would be required that probably wouldn't be in most textbooks or something like that. Another word could be something like genkinde or genkin. Genkin means cash. Um, Credit card, I think if you say it in English, some people will understand it, but if you say it in English, some people will not. Um, my pronunciation's not the most beautiful, but in Japanese it's like credit cardo. It's a different sound for them. When I first came to Japan, if any katakana word, I would automatically pronounce it closer to the English word, and Japanese people had a lot of trouble understanding what I was saying. So the most common example that sticks in my brain is the word news, because in English it's like new, N-E-W, news, and for Japanese it was news. So it was like N-Y-O-O-Z-U. So when I was at school, when I was talking to my colleagues, when I was kind of practicing Japanese or just having small talk, making small talk, I would say, kino news mimashita. And they went, nani o mimashita ka? News. And they're like, news did nani? I'm like, news? And they're like, news. And I'm like, it's the same word. What are you talking about? So pronunciation for things like that can be important. Recently, because the English ability is starting to get a little bit better, people will understand it a little bit more. But I think when I first came here, that was like 20 some years ago. I'm not even going to try it now, but how to say McDonald's in Japanese is nearly impossible for me. Nearly impossible. I tried and tried and tried. I think because my mouth is so used to saying McDonald's, it's so difficult for me to try to say it another way. Yeah. But yeah, the more Japanese that you can speak, the better, I think. Learning words like genkin for cash or credit card for paying with a credit card at the gas station, those things will go a long way. Oil kokan, tire kokan, I need an oil change, I need to change the tires of my bike. The staff are generally pretty understanding with people who don't speak Japanese well. So if you just walked in and said like tired, no, or something like that, I think that a lot of Japanese bike shops will understand what you're getting at. And I think that means don't worry too much. If you want to come to Japan but you're worried that you don't speak enough Japanese, try using some of the apps that are out there. Like I said, Apple Translate, Google Translate, Google Lens, I think it's called. You just point the camera at something. You don't even have to take a photo, and it will just translate whatever's on the sign or the page into English for you. Get used to using those kind of things, and then when you're here, you'll be ready. The reason I say that too is because Japanese takes a really long time to learn. If you want to become fluent in Japanese, you're looking at years and years and years of study, so it's not like something you can learn overnight, no matter what the polyglot YouTube channels say. Can you get to a point where you can have a conversation pretty quickly? I think so. If you're willing to buckle down and put in the hard work, I think you can definitely get from 0 to having a really basic small talk conversation. The weather's nice today, how are you, where's the bathroom, can you tell me how to get to a convenience store, stuff like that. You can get to that level super easily. When you're trying to ask the difference between synthetic and semi-synthetic oil and which one is the best for your bike, that's a very, very different conversation. And I think the response you're going to get from people is going to be way beyond your level. So, but I think, relax and have fun with it. Conversation and language is about communication. And if you do get to that light conversation level where you can ask people for directions and you can basically understand what they're saying, I think that your experience will be a lot better. Learning some nice phrases like what is the local specialty, or what food is famous in this area. It doesn't even have to be perfect Japanese, like what a native speaker would say. It just needs to be understandable for the most part. And yeah, I think that will enhance your life and your ride significantly. Uh, Getting recommendations from local people is way better than using a guidebook or something like that. The guidebook can take you to the major places. The guidebook can take you to the major places, but I think um, the local people know the best local spots. And there's one more little anecdote about that. Um, I lived in Kagawa Prefecture for my first 2 years of my life in Japan. And I really treasured the friendships that I had with local people. Hama, I miss you, man. I haven't talked to you for such a long time. I would like to get in touch again, but anyways, one of my friends there introduced me to a local udon shop that was, I don't know, for lack of a better word, I describe it as wild. It was wild because you would go down a very normal suburban street where a bunch of people lived, and then it's just rows of houses, right? A house, a house, a house, house. And then you stop at this one house and you walked in the front, and it was an udon shop. Sometimes they put a flag outside that said udon, but sometimes they didn't. And you could go in. It was just a husband and wife. The first floor was set up as a restaurant. Maybe in the past it had been a living room or something like that, but it was definitely decked out as a restaurant. And I think local people know that shop exists. It was always pretty steady with customers, and it's a place you could never find on the guidebook. It's a place you couldn't find on the map. In fact, I even tried to show some people it because they were going to Kagawa, and yeah, I couldn't even find it on the map anymore. It's maybe more than my memory. It was about 20 years since I've been there, so yeah, local people definitely know things that the guidebooks don't, so you can get some great information, and then you can make friendships with people potentially if that's what you're looking for. At this point, I feel like the live stream videos were a little bit more popular than these uploaded videos are, which is, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not particularly doing it for views, but obviously if you spend a little bit of time doing something, you'd hope people watch it, and I'm spending a little time making it, so I'm expecting few views. If I put in a lot of effort making something, I would really be hoping for more views. So, keeping it simple. I did add some light titling and very, very simple effects to the last video, and I think I might add stuff like that slowly, but I think having a title seems to be what I used to do, so it seems to make sense to me. But I may end up getting rid of that too at some point. Alright, I'm almost to work. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Get out there and ride. Ride safe.